Hi there everyone, my name is Christian Eschbach, and welcome to Confessions of a Domestic Engineer. And in my last Domestic Engineer episode, I did the last outdoor gardening episode of the year, so now I'm going to do the first indoor gardening episode of the year. Woohoo! Alright, let's check this out. Woohoo! Woo woo! So there's my spider plant. That guy there, that died a long time ago, but I leave it in there because it looks cool. Spider plant needs to be replanted, but when I replant the spider plant, I'm doing it to center it more, so I'm actually going to replant it into this round one here. I'm going to take this guy out of here, and guess what? I'm going to put this guy into there, and center it better. And then some of these are getting a little big. Right, so I'm going to take this guy out of here, and I'm going to take this little guy out of here, which is actually an offshoot from this one, and take that out and put it in, and you know, so you got this one here and a little one, and then I want these new planters. There's 3 in there. That's where the little cactuses are going to go, or cacti are going to go. That big one there, that is for my thyme. I think half of it may make it, the other half may not. We're going to see. And I'm gonna plant the rosemary in with the thyme as well. Get just a whole box going there. So the thing is I don't have a lot of potting soil, and it's an off time of year to get potting soil, so I can't get a lot of potting soil right now. So I have to use what I have left and available. So that's going to make up the bulk of my potting soil that's going to help fill this out. And then we've got some old soil in here. I'm going to obviously clear out this debris. We're not going to use the debris. But, yeah, so that's what we're going to use to fill up this box right there. See how this goes. So I'm cleaning the debris out of the aquarium, the dirt that's in the aquarium here first. I want to get that over and out of the way, and once I get that over and out of the way, I can start moving the dirt over. Most of that debris is actually plant matter. Most of it's onion. From when I was growing green onion in the house. There is some rock wool in there, and rock wool is what I use when I'm running my aquaponics setups for growing the plants in as a medium. And now I'm just moving the dirt in. As you can see, this dirt is really old. It's really dry, so it's just kind of blowing up everywhere. Blowing my nose still, you know, here I am at least 2-3 hours after I recorded this. I'm still blowing crap out of my nose. There was just a lot of dust. I really should have planned for that better, maybe gotten it a little moist. A little bit of a edit there just because the camera fell down, so I had to cut and put it back up. I left just a little bit of the camera falling down in there so you can kind of see what happened. Is she eating the weed again? Oh, no, wait. Lanny's up here.
No, Pandora.
Is she eating the weed?
No, she's eating your hero click mat.
Oh, okay. Not that that's good either.
Yeah.
Okay. And that was out for the aquarium. Took care of that. Now I just kind of flatten that down. Now, this is all the old stuff. This is all the stuff that's been around for a while. It's been used in growth a few times. Those little brown balls that are in there, those are pumice balls, pumice stone. It's, you know, it's one of the other things I use in my aquaponics setup for helping the plants grow and whatnot. It works really well, actually, for aquaponics purposes. And one day I'm going to go back and I'm going to bring all my video footage for the aquaponics stuff up. Show you what I did last time anyways. I had it posted online at one point, but I took it down. Here, I'm just digging the hole in. Nothing major, nothing special. I just want to get a nice hole for the rosemary. Now, the rosemary, I was having a few problems here trying to take the rosemary out. The rosemary has been growing in that pot for a while, for quite a while, to the point where it's pretty much close to root bound in there, so getting it out was a bit of a task. The other thing I want to mention about the rosemary is that rosemary was actually grown from cuttings I bought at the grocery store. Went and got some root gel medium, put it in some dirt, and let it go to town, and it took and it went to town. I've been growing this particular one here now for a little over a year, I believe. No, a little under a year. I started growing it after we moved into the house, I think. It was one of the first things I started growing when we moved into the house. So at this point, maybe just a smidge over a year. And the thyme that you're going to see me put in here also was grown from cuttings bought in the store and whatnot. The thyme, on the other hand, though, spent time out in the back garden. And I should have gotten it all set up inside planters sooner inside the house, but I didn't want to transfer a lot of bugs out of there, so I was trying to rinse it all out outside, using just the natural rain to rinse it out, stuff like that. It was getting cold outside, so all the bugs would want to vacate that particular bit of soil, stuff like that. So one of the batches of thyme, I decided it just wasn't worth trying to preserve. Decided I'm just going to put it in the compost, no big deal. This was all growing from cuttings I had bought in a store, you know what I mean? So there is no harm, no foul. I just wanted to put them both in, and then, you know, I want to get them going together. I've grown thyme and rosemary in both dirt in the house and also with aquaponics. I love growing rosemary and thyme in aquaponics setups. It's really cool. It's real easy. They do really well. Actually, well, the thyme didn't do as well in aquaponics. It dies a lot easier, I find, but it's okay. I don't mind so much when it just because it dries out really fast is what it is. And that's the same problem I had here too. It's not that they weren't getting water enough. It's just there wasn't enough dirt to hold in the moisture. The one that looked greener had more clumps of dirt on it still, was holding it in. The other one just really dried out because it was not holding moisture in. And thyme does that. It dries out super fast, super easy. I'm hoping it comes back. The rosemary is in great shape. It's nothing's going to go wrong with that. Nothing was bad there. And I'm just finishing off with some basic watering here. That watering container there, it is a container from store-bought water, but it's not store-bought water that's in there. I bought that forever ago. I actually use it for changing water for my betta fish at work when I used to have a betta fish at work. Here I just use it for watering the plants. That's all there is for that one. And yeah, that pretty much takes care of that. Alright, Tracy and I bought this cactus quite a while ago. At this point, it's probably been about a year and a half, maybe almost 2 years. It's definitely before everything went haywire and the world shut down. It used to be in the planter there, but it got too big, so it got into its own. It's still a fair size. This side here, where you see all that brown in that's the side that faced the sun the most. And the side that got less light looks like that. Now, transplanting it into here was a pain in the arse before. We'll see how it goes this time. Oh, I'll show you that side since I didn't show you that side. So yeah, there's that side. Give you a full round view of it. Alright, now that spider plant, I don't even know how old the spider plant is now, and that spider plant has survived many a mishaps. All of its offspring died over the years as far as I know of, due to mishaps. But this one still strives on, still going, got some new offshoots coming, but I want to put it into that planter so I can center it a little better and hopefully maybe hang it. And then we're going to put that in there so it's got a nice big square base. Take two. Okay, so what you're going to see here is I want to do a cool angle of me trying to take the dirt out of the spider plant so I could transplant it. And I noticed as I was doing it, the dirt started piling up on the camera, and I decided to let it go. Because I just love that it gets dirtier and dirtier around it, and dirtier, and this is all buried alive. And then, you know, I cut to this next shot. That was a great transition, I think, anyways. You get to see the plant there. Looks all nice. You get a little bit of a look at the roots. It's cool going on. And then this is me getting ready to put it into the planter. Put in some dirt, so there's some dirt down at the bottom there. Not a whole lot to really say about that, just putting dirt in. I could have sped this up, but I didn't want to. I might have had some insights I wanted to add, and in this case, I really don't have any insights I want to add. So that's okay. Not a problem. Cactus fell over on me. Sadly, we didn't get video of that. So, right now, the problem I'm having is trying to get the cactus out here without hurting myself and trying to get a half-decent camera view at the same time. I'm failing the whole way around. I've got an okay grip on it. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Sliding out. Sliding out. Oh, there we go. Ah. Finally. I'm trying to pop some of this dirt off here. Hopefully loosen it up. I want to get more, like I mentioned earlier, I want to center this a little better. Ooh, that might be hard. I can feel the roots there. Oh, this is, I think the best we're getting is centering for now. If I want to center any more than this, I'm going to need a significantly larger pot. Here, all I'm trying to do is fill in around the cactus. That's it. I stopped talking, so I'm focusing on that. And the only reason I'm putting this part on here right now is if you listen to the way I'm breathing in the background as I'm doing all this, it sounds like I've got this weird labored breathing going on. And not really. It's just I'm really stuffed up, as you can hear. Had a lot of work done around on the house this week, and I will be getting to a whole episode on that. Much shorter episode than this one, about the work I had done around the house this week. Anyways, so I'm just talking here so you can't hear the labored breathing that sounds really bad and would maybe have people worrying about my health. And I don't need people worrying about my health. My health is fine. Thank you very much. I just have allergy issues. That's all. Yeah, so that's that. And, you know, I know there was a little bit in there talking about trying to hide labels and stuff like that. I've mentioned this before. I don't really try to give any type of free advertising or free publicity or anything like that to anybody. But, you know, I will give props where props are due, and I will say something where something needs to be said or whatnot. And if a logo naturally shows up, it naturally shows up. Those people don't sponsor me, and if they did, you'd get a big thing that says, hey, sponsored by. And, you know, if anybody ever wants to sponsor me, hey, let's do it. Let's get a little sponsoring going on. That's all cool. That's my little pitch here, right? You know, say my little thing and cut where I don't need to be talking. Woohoo. Now, I've only started, and this is how much dirt I've already gotten all over the place. Now, that's okay there, because that's just a tray I can pick up. This is with the plastic down on the floor. Imagine if I hadn't had the plastic down on the floor. And I tried to keep this clean. But anyways, let's carry on. I don't have proper potting soil for this, unfortunately. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this. That's the root system. We're going to go like that. Get it to where we want it in there. And then I'm going to use this old dirt here. Just refill it back in. Now, some of you might be wondering why I have so much aquarium stone in here. There's a couple reasons for that. The first one is I use the aquarium stone as filler. The second one is it actually does help with drainage a little bit. Not a lot, just a little. But most of it is used as filler. I'm not going to lie to you. And normally I wouldn't recommend going from a larger pot to a smaller pot. But this pot is all that I got. And this is all that I want right now. If I had had some fresh potting soil, I most definitely would have put fresh potting soil into here. But I do not have any fresh potting soil right now. Alright. That's definitely pretty fucking dry in there right now, pardon my language. Technically I said fruckin'. There was an F in there, an extra F. So we're gonna let this have a nice big drink of water. After we give it its nice big drink of water, we're going to put it up in a new home that it's never been in before. Oh yeah, there it goes, drinking away. Alright, let's go move it to its new home. This is the most likely new home for the spider plant. I haven't 100% decided for sure, but most likely it will go here. It might go on a stand that puts it up a little higher. Should get quite a bit of sun there because the sun comes in from the south side. In this case, that would be the left side of that window. And should get a fair amount as it goes across throughout the day. At this point, what I'm doing is I'm going to dig out the cactuses that I don't want to maintain in this box anymore. The ones that I mentioned early on, and end up taking out more than I had originally planned as well. Once I got going, I realized that I was only going to keep 3 cacti in this particular planter. This one here, these little guys are honestly real easy to take out. The downside of these little guys is they don't get a really good, strong root base, I find. They've been in this particular planter for over a year now. I've put them in this planter. They were always in this planter. They got moved and shifted a little bit in this planter once, but they were almost always in this planter. And the smaller guys, they really don't get a really strong root base to them at all. I'm not entirely sure as to why on that. These other ones, these larger ones, like that one right there, that one had a solid, really solid root base in it. And there goes the camera falling down. My GoPros are all charging right now. And they're taking forever to charge, which is why I'm trying to use 2 different cell phones to videotape this. And usually when I'm, doing the cell phone for recording, I usually put them in a stationary spot that I have pre-set up. It's easy to do. Trying to do this, it's a freaking nightmare. I can't get you a good angle on anything I'm doing. Even where I've got this set up right now, it's a great angle for shooting like this for me to talk to you, but it is absolutely shite for trying to meet what I'm doing with the cactuses here. So we're going to see what I can do. Okay, we're going to try this out and see if this works. I've got the camera recording in one spot. I got this one recording here. I've got the cactus right in front of me here. Hopefully this all works out. All right, so what I've done is I've lifted up. I've gotten into under the roots. I've lifted up as much as I can. And now I'm just kind of pushing some soil from around it underneath it. So I want to get it up nice and high now in the planter. Okay, it's been pretty low all this time. And then I'm going to take some new stuff. And I'm going to use that new stuff there to fill in that end. Pack that down a little bit in there. All right, awesome. Awesome, awesome. Okay. So next, I'm going to do the middle one. It's going to be a little more complicated. Trying to get this in camera as best as possible. Let's move that out of the knockaway zone. All right, here we go. Ooh, this one's got a good root down into here, and it's mixing in with the other plant next to it. All right, here we go, here we go, here we go. Pulling it out, pulling it out. Awesome, 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 awesome. Okay. Now, we're going to put as much of this old stuff that's already here underneath. Ow, 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 ow. That's not too bad. Only 1 or 2 bites so far from the cactuses. Okay. We're going to come back to this one because I can't fill it in yet. What we're going to do now is we're going to see which one of these two here, this little guy you can barely see, or the big guy is going to move first. Little guy it is. All right. So little guy is going to come out of here and go into there. And then we're going to work on repositioning this big one. All right, here we go. We're going to let all the old stuff drop down into there. All right. So, oh, what's this? Oh, looks like we got another tuber coming up to the top here, folks. Look at that. Given a little time, this would have worked its way up. Tuber with a nice little a bud starting there. That'd be the second one I've gotten off of here. I must be doing something right with these cactuses. Now, I just broke that off of there. That's okay. And let that big rock go down there. Let's let this tilt this way for now. This one has a problem. It tilts a lot. So we really want to give this more soil around its base this time around. Just getting top heavy there. Needs to get rotated more often than it does too. As you can see, all the growth is pretty much to one side. Alright, what I'm going to do is we're going to finish pouring this bag out here. Or maybe not finish pouring it out yet. I'm going to get generous there. And the reason we're going to get generous is I got to work this plant at the same time still. I got to work it back in. Sorry, I'm not saying much here. I'm just concentrating on not getting stabbed by cactus pricks. No one likes prick. All right. That middle one's back in there a lot more solid now. That's cool. Let's see if we can finish up this one here. What it really needs is a good rock to hold it up, help hold it up and support it, but, you know, that's not an option. They're going to have to build up a mound around it. I wasn't going to originally, but I think I'm going to have to. Try and give it a little extra support here. And I can also help finish off the bag this way. Now, you shouldn't pack it too tight. But, like what I said, I want to give it a bit of a good, healthy mound around it there. I'll hold it down a little better. All right. So we're going to say that's that, and I'm going to water this. But this camera's on the watering can. Here all I'm doing is watering the cacti. This gives you a good view, though, of the two of them sitting there, how I've spaced them out, taken out what's in there. Hopefully, the 3 cacti that are in there in total will be nice and good for the next little while. And with any luck, like, I'll be able to let them go for maybe another 2-3 years at least before I might have to worry about separating them out. That's what I'm hoping. I might put in some dividers as well over time, just in case their roots really seem to start stretching out again. Try and get the roots to go down a little more, not so much across. Which some of them do. These larger ones are going down more, and I'd like to keep them going down more, but eventually I'm going to have to put them in bigger pots, probably solo or whatnot. So I want to have them, or centerpieces with other ones around them, but still larger pots. So I'm going to have to work out something with that. Believe it or not, this part here, I just forgot the camera was rolling, to be completely honest. Once I got the camera up and running, I left it there. And, well, it doesn't look like I'm doing much here up above. I'm actually just putting it in place and getting it all set up and all nice and whatnot. I'm letting you see all this footage because I want you to see what I do. This is very important. Very, very important, okay? Now, I'm off screen for a couple. I know, seems boring, but here is very important stuff you need to know. Vacuum. When you vacuum, you vacuum up the crap right away, you vacuum up the dirt right away. I do these on my hardwood floors. Do these on hardwood floors, do these on linoleum floors, do these on any type. Don't do them on tile floors. Oh god. Don't do them on tile floors. That you start getting this stuff in the road, it's a pain in the arse. I learned that lesson from when I used to live in the old place. And no, I didn't go nuts vacuuming here, and what I did is I stopped to empty the vacuum. That's some of the noise you hear in the background. this last bit of video, all I'm doing is taking care of these last 3 cactuses. You got the one there, that's the pretty orange ball. I'm going to top up the soil, and you can see that there's some slight discoloration at the bottom of that cactus. That was what was already underground. I'm just going to continue to use that as my marker line for what should be underground. That might be a little too much underground because of the fading, but it's worked for at least the last year, so I'm going to keep going with it. We'll see what happens. And then I tried pouring some dirt around it. I'm going to be honest, that was a pain in the tush. I could only get it from one angle. That was a good shot of inside the bag. Too bad you can get a full glance at the brand I'm using. But this is cactus formulated soil, and I'm putting all these in fresh transplants. So let's give them some good stuff, right? I'm sure people will say that there's better out there, and I can definitely make my own that's better, and blah, blah, blah. And I don't doubt that. But I leave that for outside. Inside, I'm just going to cheap out and use the easy stuff. That being said, I have used, for years and years and years, I used cheap, generic stuff from, you know, dollar stores, various different one particular dollar store, but I refuse to use their name because screw them and their no cashiers and automated checkouts and bull crap during the pandemic that they were spreading to cause crap and intentionally be difficult. So, but I've used cheap soil. I've used good stuff, and even the good stuff isn't really that expensive. I pay probably about twice the price for a bag of the good stuff for indoors. And I don't buy it too often. So when I do buy it, I don't mind. It's not heartbreaking. It's not going to make me bankrupt. It's all good to go. It's not a big deal, you know. And if I can't afford it, I don't pick it up. Now, with this little guy here, as I had mentioned earlier in the video, which I gotta clean some of the dirt off now, damn it. As I mentioned earlier in the video, that one came from a bud off of the one that's going to go in the main one here that I haven't put in yet. And all it did, it was you'll see here, this one actually has 2 growing on it right now, 2 bulbs. I'm not sure if you can see them quite right there at the top. But you can see that, you can see the large middle section, okay? So the large middle section had a ball that started growing on it. And then it ended up falling off, and the one that fell off is the small one that's in the middle planter. And that small one in the middle planter has been doing well enough over the last little while that it even has a small one growing on it now. So I'm interested to see how this goes and how it takes. I'm not sure if I should have intentionally buried it deeper. I kind of wanted to see what the roots would do on their own when I originally put it in. It's an experiment. I like experimenting with plants. Sure, I could go read it up online and whatnot, but this way I can actually learn more about the plants themselves. And since it technically is a freebie, I don't mind doing a little experimenting with it, and I don't mind playing with it a little bit and seeing what really happens with it. I can't test on animals. Shh. I've tested on animals, goldfish. But that's with aquaponics. And when I put up my aquaponics videos, you'll understand. I'll be probably doing those soon. Just because the holidays are coming up and I'm going to want to take a little bit of a break. Enjoy the holiday season. Got work I have to do around the house. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, that's right. I also had to put dirt into this guy. This one has done it very successfully. Has done very well. I got to really work on that English, eh? The stem that's sticking out there, it flowers. It seems to flower once a year, spring to summer. This year it had a really good flower. It really went on. You saw earlier on in the video the whole long thing. I'm sure if I hadn't, treated it like a cactus and stopped watering it for a month or so, it would have kept going. I've never tried to produce a proper full-on rainy season with them before to see what happens. Now I'm just going to, water them individually as I feel is necessary. But I really like this one in this little pot. It works. Don't have to water it heavily. This is me trying to use up as much of the dirt as possible that spilled over. So, I dumped it in, work it around. All the basic stuff here. Yep. Lots to say. Now, here I'm just working it underneath, and then I'm going to end up having to add in more dirt. But I've already picked up the plastic, so I really got to be kind of careful-ish while I'm doing it. Let's be clear, I still do a lot of cleaning at the end of this. I've pulled out the vacuum, and I've vacuumed 2-3 times already since doing this, and I'll probably vacuum 2-3 more times over the next day or so. And this is what I've done with the cacti for now. Those 3 ended up in there by themselves. I had 1 extra pot by the end, so put that guy in its own pot. Those 3 got their own pot. That little guy was already in there, as you saw at the beginning, and that one ended up in there. Somewhere along the way, I lost the other offshoot to that one. I have no clue where it disappeared to. We'll figure it out as we go, I guess, or we won't figure it out. It'll be a great mystery. It's probably in the compost with all the dirt and everything I threw out that was left over. Who knows?